Hi. So I wanted to share with you guys, the ones that keep commenting very disgusting things. First of all, thank you for the compliments. Yes, I am fat. Uh, it came from an accident that I had, and it came from uh, some pretty emotional times for me. One of them being that I left a very highly abusive marriage, and yeah, and it's taken me, oh my gosh, it's been 2013 to now, so 2026, so 13 years to get to the point where I'm good enough alone. I am happy in my own skin. I don't listen to people who uh, clearly have lost the argument. And so they resort to insults and threats and all this other kind of stuff that they have to put out there because they're that insecure in their own skin. Now, I'm sorry for the MAGA men who have to point out about my fatness, but that's indicative as to who you are as a person. When you have to try to bring somebody down to your level, it shows how insignificant you truly are. And I mean, really tiny. So, for those women that love those men, is it love? Are you, I don't know, resigning yourself to being stuck with something like that? Because I was that woman. I was in an abusive marriage. And even as a registered nurse, I had to learn a lot about what abuse is. And abuse is not just a physical thing. It is verbal, it is mental, it is constantly being put down and knocked down, it is constantly having something to be upset about and being told you're wrong and gaslighting, and somehow or another you get confused into apologizing when it's not you that did anything wrong. I've been in quite a few relationships like that. And sadly, I have to say, my mom did groom me to be that way. I watched other people that I care about capitulate. And maybe it worked out for them in the end. Kudos. And I've got to say though, for me, I could have been somebody completely different. The person I thought I was is not who I am now. I have a voice. I have my boundaries. I choose the bear. I am quite strong, both in body and mind. And that just rubs people the wrong way, I guess. Especially insecure little men. And sometimes they're little MAGA women that have to come in. I've had one call me a see you next Tuesday. And she spelled it with a K, though, because we're smart. That'll fool the censors, won't it? And I've had some that have called me a schnauzy. I've had some sit there and outright totally misspell things where it took me a little while to puzzle it together because, it is what it is. Some people spell phonetically, even if they're older than me. And others swear that they have these big old degrees that say how smart they are, and they think that that's what makes them smart. I have met people smarter than some people with degrees who did not complete high school. My stepdad was one of them. God rest his soul. He was an amazing man, and he built a business, and he nurtured that business, and He was not the man that was the word on the street. And I feel bad for his actual children because they didn't get to really know him. The opportunity was there, but they just, for whatever reason, look, I had my own issues with my mother. I loved her. She's my mom. But we butted heads all the time. And there is a very specific reason behind that. She was the first person that really knocked me down and kept me down and taught me while she was learning to find her strength. And I was so proud of her, even as a child, watching her get her GED and take college courses and enter the workforce and really bootstraps. Man, she grabbed them bootstraps on and she was strong. Unfortunately, her relationship with her children did not help or become better. And there were words that she would say, possibly because there was no real mental health or guidance for her, no sounding board for her. And she said something that beat me down to my core, and I still play over in my head today. And that was that I wouldn't be any good for any good man. That all I was worth was laying on my back, spreading my legs, and pushing out kids. When I divorced my first husband, he had been cheating on me. And she told me, but he makes a good living. So you should just deal with it because this is what men do. And we had a talk. She didn't agree with my view that I had two small, young ladies, little girls, that were watching my moves as I watched my mom's. I knew the horror she was under. We got to witness it. It played out in front of us. Nothing was hidden. She was beaten. I watched as her arm got broken by my biological father, amongst other very horrific SA acts. My children watched me. I was their role model. And I thought long and hard about it, and I went to therapy about it. And I said, how can I accept my ex-husband stepping out? I was getting phone calls from his girlfriend at the time, threatening me, threatening my children. And it's funny because she thought he was telling me that he wanted a divorce and I was refusing to give him one. And I told her this was the first I had heard about it. And when I confronted him with it, he called me crazy. Well, I don't know if that's his wife now. I really don't care. My ex-husband and I do not speak. We have not spoken in, about 30 years? Maybe more? But I let go. I let go. And to move on past that and to go through my second marriage, it took a lot out of me because I had to really talk myself into it. So when that marriage ended horrifically, as some of you may have heard some of my story, pardon me, I was not going to take anything from anybody. And I'll take a lot from MAGA. I hear a lot from MAGA. And I let a lot of it just roll off my back because I realized these are very insecure, scared little people. That's the only way that Don Pito could have manipulated them. And they embrace it. And most of them don't even know how to say, oh my God, we chose the wrong guy. No, I'm not going to be a soft landing. Because fundamentally, you were okay with him mocking a disabled reporter. You were okay when he went after women and still does to this day. You were okay with him taking away your right to health care and your ability to keep your health care private. You were okay with everything he's doing and hiding the Epstein files and going into wars with other people. He has promised you the world, and then he turned around and said, psych, you got me into office and I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah. You don't have a principle to stand on, especially when your narrative changes with his. I'm glad some of you have left. There are wonderful groups, I understand, that you can join where it's Ex-MAGA. But I think fundamentally, you're not ready to join our group. You need to do some research. You need to do some learning. And you need to take responsibility for the racism, for the misogyny, for the okay with the felon running the country, for thinking that somebody who was a reality game show host was capable. But you're going to have to let that sink in. You're going to have to learn to forgive yourselves. Not my job to forgive you. Go to your religious leader if they're not a white nationalist, or preaching the gospel of politics from the pulpit. Crack open that Bible of yours. Crack open your Quran or your Torah or whatever you need to open up to read your religious text or speak to somebody who has common sense in the religious aspects of what religion you are, or your lack thereof of religion. I don't hold it against anybody. My religious beliefs are my own. That's private. There's no priest for me. There's no reverend or pastor or clergy that can help me. Mine is very tailored to me. Yours should be too. Like and subscribe. And all I can say to those ex-MAGA is do better. That's all I can offer. Have a great day.